Most people are not stuck because they are lazy. They are stuck because they repeat the same behavior every single day without ever questioning it. There is one behavior that silently controls most lives. And the most dangerous part is that most people don't even notice it. That behavior is reacting instead of thinking. From a very young age, we are trained to react. React to stress, react to pressure, react to criticism, react to problems. School rewards quick answers. Life punishes unexamined reactions. Very few people are taught how to pause, how to slow down, how to observe before acting. When something goes wrong, most people react emotionally. They complain, they blame, they get frustrated, they look for relief, they look for comfort. Reaction feels natural, but reaction is expensive. Every reaction has a cost in time, a cost in energy, a cost in clarity. People who live in reaction mode rarely stop to analyze their situation. They don't ask why the same problems keep repeating. They don't question their habits. They don't question their patterns. They don't question their decisions. They simply react again. This creates a loop, the same stress, the same mistakes, the same outcomes, different days, same life. Thinking, on the other hand, requires effort. Thinking requires silence. Thinking requires discomfort, and discomfort is something most people avoid. Pausing feels strange. Silence feels unfamiliar. Being alone with your thoughts feels uncomfortable. So instead of thinking, people distract themselves. They scroll, they complain, they stay busy, they stay noisy. Busy feels productive, but busy often hides avoidance. Avoidance of responsibility, avoidance of awareness, avoidance of change. This reactive behavior affects every area of life and money. Emotional reactions create poor decisions, impulse spending, fear-based choices, short-term thinking, and relationships. Reactions create conflict, words said without thought, emotions expressed without control, damage that could have been avoided in careers. Reactions keep people stagnant, complaining instead of improving, blaming instead of adapting, waiting instead of acting. Reaction keeps people small. Thinking expands options. The difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck is not intelligence. It is awareness. Awareness is the ability to notice what is happening inside you before it turns into action. The moment you pause, you create space. Space between stimulus and response. Space to choose. Space to think. That space is power. Successful people are not emotionless. They feel anger. They feel fear. They feel frustration. But they do not allow emotions to decide for them. They respond. They don't react. Responding means choosing consciously. Reacting means acting automatically. Most people live automatically. They wake up. They repeat routines. They repeat habits. They repeat reactions. Days turn into years. Years turn into decades. And suddenly they wonder why. Nothing changed. Change does not come from motivation. Motivation is temporary. It fades. It depends on mood. Awareness is permanent. Once you see a pattern, you can no longer unsee it. The moment you start observing your reactions, you begin to regain control. Control over your time. Control over your decisions. Control over your direction. This is why discipline beats motivation and awareness beats impulse. Another reason people stay stuck is the fear of responsibility. Thinking forces you to take responsibility. Reacting allows you to blame. Blame feels good in the short term, but it keeps you powerless. Responsibility feels heavy at first, but it gives you control. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, people, or systems, you start asking better questions. What am I repeating? Why do I react this way? What am I avoiding? What am I afraid to face? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Most people avoid these questions their entire lives, not because they are stupid, but because no one taught them how to face themselves. This is not academic knowledge. This is behavioral education. And behavior shapes life more than information ever will. You can read 1,000 books, but if you keep reacting the same way, nothing changes. Growth begins with observation, with silence, with honesty. If you want a different life, you need different responses, not louder reactions. Pause, observe, then decide. This is how patterns break. This is how control returns. This is how growth begins. And this is rarely taught. If this video made you reflect, like the video and subscribe to Unscholared. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is Unscholared, knowledge school never taught.